Good morning, Team East London. It's so great to really have you in this workshop. Apologies that I couldn't be there in person. Of course, I believe I need no introduction by now. My name is Lebo. Really, I want to start off by appreciating all of you for coming around, really honoring this invitation to gather to this, what we have called, the first sales masterclass. By no means are we really claiming to be masters, but we believe they in unity and in you gathering around the table, the depth and the wealth of knowledge and skills is really seated around the table right now. And I want to thank the management team for putting this together. Everyone that's really rallied around this particular concepts. And I want to say up front, it wasn't even Lebo's idea. Mine was just to really enable for this to happen, because at heart, we have you in mind. You, as the people seated around the table, our sales consultants, service consultants, new and old alike, experienced and less experienced. You are the people right at the forefront, at the cutting edge of what happens, on the ground and with the people that really make this organization what it is, and those are our customers. And we believe when we enable you, you will be able to really make the dreams of our customers come true. So really well done to you. Thank you for your contribution so far. Yes, there's still a journey to travel, but this is one step that we have taken to really ensure that the people that really are driving the business in the forefront, being yourself, are empowered. By no means is this the first and the last, but it's definitely the starting of a journey. And you are in for a treat. You're going to enjoy this. It's going to be awesome. I believe you might have spoken to some of your colleagues that have been to the first leg last month. Really take full advantage of it. Engage amongst yourself and really share some best practices. So, having said that, I want to also thank some of our colleagues and stakeholders around the table. Some of them you'll meet for the first time today, and it's gonna just be an awesome day. All right, now that the formalities are done, I just want to briefly, for a couple of minutes, I would have loved to do this in person, but I'm sitting in Johannesburg for this whole week, and really I couldn't stop just thinking about today, and that is now the fact that you are here. And hence I felt the need to really also share this with you. So I'm going to talk about something that is rather not spoken of very often in business today, and in many big organizations in particular. And it's something that is simply called EQ, or emotional quotient, or rather called emotional maturity by some other people. And others would rather call it emotional intelligence. Whatever you want to call it, it's simply abbreviated EQ. One, you may ask, why EQ? And for that matter, what is EQ? So let me share with you a little bit. So emotional intelligence, or EQ, is the ability to create a balance between knowing what you don't know and that what you do know can be improved. The ability to create a balance between knowing what you do not know and that what you do know can be improved. It sounds like a complicated subject, but it's really not. Because many times we get so comfortable in what we know and we think there is nothing else. And that is why we take sometimes the defensive stance when people really bring forth new information or a different way of doing things. So, simply just have a different view to what we have. And we reckon, no, we are so comfortable subconsciously in what we know that we almost believe that that is all there is, to a particular subject. So why do we speak about emotional intelligence? A bit of research has been conducted, and I just took the liberty to read on a little bit on some of the research. And one of the findings was that when emotional intelligence first appeared to the masses, it served as the missing link in a peculiar finding. And what is that finding? The people with average IQs outperform those with the highest IQs 70% of the time. You could ask yourself, why is that? This anomaly threw a massive wrench into the broadly held assumption that IQ was the sole source of success, right? So in other words, people with a better EQ outperformed those with a high IQ. So in other words, a high level of IQ does not necessarily guarantee success, but EQ does. And I'm going to take it a little bit further and just explain to you briefly the 5 aspects. And by no means is this an exhaustive list, but these are really those that I just want to hone in as very important, that really make up what do we mean about EQ. And the 5 are as follows. We're talking about self-awareness, motivation, empathy, social skills, and self-regulation. I'm going to explain these to you in a little bit of detail, and then I'm going to wrap up with what are the benefits really of having or at least elevating your EQ level. These 5 elements, let's start with self-awareness. And what do we mean by self-awareness? So, and how do you attain a level of self-awareness? Simply, it means the following. Assess your strengths and weaknesses and know your moods and triggers. Many people do not spend time really to try and understand themselves. They would rather just go with the flow and accept that who they are is just, or what they are is who they are. How they behave is who they are. They don't take time to really reflect on, why do I behave this way in such a circumstance versus behaving that other way. They've simply accepted that how they react instead of respond is who they are. Meanwhile, if you spend enough time really reflecting on how you responded in conversations during the day, start simple. Spend 10 minutes of your time every day. Think about and reflect on the conversations you would have had during the day, and really take a step out of your own, out of your own body, and just look as a third person and say, and ask yourself, why did I behave that way? And why did I say that? And why did I say this instead of that? I can tell you now, it will really change and revolutionize and help deepen your relationships, because suddenly you will start seeing yourself through the eyes of others and through the eyes of really your inner self, where you now begin a process of self-improvement. Unless there is a heightened level of self-awareness, there will be very little level of self-improvement. That's self-awareness. Let's go to motivation. What do we mean by self-motivation? In other words, what we're talking about here, face challenges head on and work one step at a time